Hey guys, we're continuing the build of our Twitter clone from where we left off in the previous video. I'm going to do a diagnosis. It's been 2 years now since we've actually looked at this application. So first things first, we're going to get reoriented to the program and we're going to debug it because we've got some new issues in here. So I'm going to teach you guys how to use the debugger first of all. So anytime that you have a problem with your application, that will prevent it from actually functioning on a basic level. And what I mean is functioning according to how Bubble, how you've built things within Bubble. So there's certain things that Bubble can detect automatically that aren't going to work. You may have some idea in your head about how you want your program to work, like I want this button, I want this this section in here with our logo, our slogan, and sign up form to show up if someone's not logged in. You know, that might be something in our head that's an idea, but if we haven't written anything into the program yet, Bubble's not going to obviously read our mind and know that. However, if we've already built some commands, Bubble may be able to tell us certain things that are wrong with those commands. So when we have this issues thing up here, which is this basically red indicator with a number of issues, it's just an easy way for us to look at every issue that Bubble's noticed from what we've built already. So let's go into it right now, explore the first issue, group sign up. So it looks like group sign up had some conditions on it and they are no longer here. So has to do with, let me see. So what we are thinking about here is when we have a group sign up, we should also have login as well. Have we built the login? This is a good question. So when we switch to login, let's click start to workflow. So we don't have our login built yet, do we? That's very critical for us to do. So let's do that right now. Every time we have a sign up and login form, we're going to have we're going to put a state on a group, and a state is basically where we're saving some information temporarily. And this is we're going to save the state of this group and say like, okay, well, initially we'll set it up so the sign up information is visible when someone goes to the page. However, if someone clicks on login, we want the login information to be showing. So in order for us to do that, what we need to do is first we're going to group everything together here. So let me test this really quick. So group sign up is a group within, okay, so let's see, what's this? Broader group. Okay, there's a broader group sign up. Okay, so what we need to do within here first is to hold down control, or I believe it's command if you're on Mac, and select all of these elements. So everything here, so select that little title there. Okay, left click, group these elements into a group. Now that we've done that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to name this group. We're going to call this group sign up forms. Okay, make this element fixed with. That's not so important right now, but we'll do it anyway. This element is visible on page load. Yes, we can leave that condition. Define another, go to conditions, define a condition. And now here's where we want to think about where do we want to save this toggled state, basically sign up or login state. And we can save it directly on this group, and we'll call this group forms. Just rename this. And let's remove these conditions because we don't need those anymore, and make this group forms fixed with as well. Okay, so coming back to here, we have this condition. We're going to say, we wanted to put the condition on group forms, right? So select group forms by just clicking outside of this area. Go to the I section in here, click add a new custom state. We'll call this mode, but you can call the state whatever you want. What's important is that we're just going to, the type is going to be text, and we're going to say initially the default value is going to be sign up. Again, you can use any value you want. These are just our custom codes. We just want to have two different modes that are denoted by text that we save on the page. So initially we said we have sign up, right? So what we're going to do then is we're going to go in here and say, okay, well, when group forms mode is sign up, this element is visible. Define another condition when groups, and then left click copy, right click copy, right click paste. Groups mode is not sign up, this element is not visible. Okay, sign up form. So now what we're going to do is we're going to left click copy the sign up forms group, right click paste. And let me move this down so it's the same height. Okay, so we've got group sign up form. Okay, here we go. So then left. So I just hid that. So you see, you can click on this eye in here to show and hide different elements on the page. So I hid that so that we can select this easily, our copied forms, and we're going to call this login forms. Now we're going to rename this text login. After that, we're going to get rid of this confirmation. We're just going to say email and password, and we're going to denote this with login. Email, login, password, login. Adjust that again, login. Okay, we don't need that anymore, so let's delete that text. We'll say don't have an account, change this text, and we'll change this, say sign up, and we'll call this button switch to sign up. Next thing, we're going to move this button up about right there. That's okay. And then we can move this up as well. Move this up to something like right there. Plus move this sign up button up as well. Okay, let's move this up a bit more, something like this. Make this nice and tight. All right. So does that look okay? Yeah, that looks fine. Actually, let's move it back down because it looks a little bit better how it was before. So just undo, undo, and undo. Yeah, so that looks better just keeping it near the bottom. So that's how we're going to keep it. And then we're just going to move this button up here. And we're going to just call this login button login. Okay, let's also make this a bit thicker. That's good. Okay, login. So start edit workflow. We're going to go to account, log the user in, email is equal to input email login's value, password is equal to input password login's value. Stay logged in, yes, we'll just say yes. Remember the email, yes. Just keep those default conditions in there. And there we go. Now what we need to do is change these buttons here. So we need to adjust the login form as well. So we need to go to conditions in the login form. So select the login form, conditions. And we want to say only show this form when group forms mode is login. Okay, don't show this form when group forms mode is not login. Okay, now we're going to go back to the appearance. Don't show this login form on page load. We're going to show the sign up form instead. Now go down to here, this sign up, switch start edit workflow, and then we're going to say element actions, set state. We want to adjust the state of group forms because that's where we added the state. Mode, we want to set it equal to sign up when someone is trying to change to the sign up portion. Okay, so that's all we need to do there. And now let's hide this with that eye icon. Click the eye icon again to show the sign up form. And let's also make sure this is right click center horizontally, make sure it's centered. And then we're going to click on login, start edit workflow, element actions, set state. And the state is group forms, mode, login. Okay, click out of that. Now let's test this out really quick. See it work. We have some more things to do here as well. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on this. Let's just get rid of that description. We don't need that. Don't make this element fixed width. Adjust that. That'll be the first thing we're going to do. Okay, we got another thing to do here, which is to make this element fixed width and center this. I'm going to stretch this out a bit as well. Excuse me. Center it horizontally. Okay. There we go. Fixed our design. It looks a lot better right now. I see we left the login here, so we also have login here as well. So awesome. This looks good. Now let's also adjust this. Let's go to the header and adjust this design really quick because it's really bothering me. So this will be a fast adjustment. We just want to make, let's see. We really just want this to be the same color. We don't want to have this gray area on the outside of it. So To do that, 337AB7 is the color of this, so change the color of this to 337AB7. 337AB7. Okay, there we go. So go back to the index and test it out. There we go. That looks much nicer already. I really like what we have going on here. Okay, so we also didn't mess around with this other login button. So you see we've got this nice login feature going on. Excuse me. And sign up. So we're able to switch quite easily. And now let's just test this out. So Evan, L-I-T-T-T-Y. I haven't created an account yet. So let's create an account really quick. So evancharles@gmail.com. 123, sign up. And okay, so here we go. So we got the text messages showing up here. Also this button for posting messages. But we still have some more work to do. So what we need to do is, let's see. So our retweet feature isn't working yet. Our comment feature isn't working quite yet either. So all these things we're going to fix right now. So let's go back to the sign up. Let's see. Do we want to mess around with the log? We'll fix the login right now because we know we need to do that anyway. So login, set state. So we went to the header, right? So we clicked on the login, start site workflow. We want to go to page. Whoops. Actually, no, we don't want to go to a different page. We just want to account, log the user in. Email is equal to input emails value. Password is equal to input passwords value. Stay logged in. Remember the email. Yes. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now our login is going to be working on the top screen there. Going back to our sign up, everything looks good so far. Do we have this? Make sure that our sign up's working as well. Sign the user up. Let's see. All of this looks fine. Refresh the page. Okay, that looks good. And now let's just adjust these issues as well before we keep going. So we've got some more stuff in here. What is this? So missing element. So it looks like we have missing element. So we will adjust these later. Whatever conditions that we used to have here, some elements must have disappeared. So we will just forget about them for right now. And header A must be right. Okay, there we go. So just move that around. We now have no more. Okay, I'm just going to deploy this. Development, deploy current version to live, deploy it. There's two versions of your application. One is the test version. The other is the live. And basically, the difference is just that there's two databases. So one contains your test information. And you know you're on your test website when you click on preview. And you see version test here in the URL. So it's always good just to use version test to test. And oftentimes you want to be, once you have a live application, you want to be building things, but you want to test them before you publish them and real users are interacting with those changes that you made. So that's the reason that they created two versions of the app. So we're just going to focus on the test version for right now, and we're not going to worry about the live version. I just publish those changes. I publish quite frequently because I'm confident in my development. But that's something to keep in mind, just for future reference when you are making changes. Don't publish until you are ready for real users to experience the changes that you made. So we're going to go back to the index page now, and we're going to make some more adjustments. So we had this group tweets. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm just going to drag this out so this looks nicer. So real simple, just drag that out so it's all the way across the page. Tell a joke and post the joke. And that's a nice, easy fix, so it already looks better. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we've got this thing happening on page load where the sign up page is showing and then this joke, the actual feed is showing up. So the way we're going to fix that is we're going to go over to group sign up and we're going to say that this element, this element's not visible on page load. Let me see, group index logged in is yes. We actually don't want to use this index logged in state. Whatever was going on here, we just want to say when current user isn't logged in, this element is logged in. Current user is logged in. This element is not visible. When current user isn't logged in, this element is visible. Okay, that's a real simple right there. And then we're gonna do the same thing with this group tweets. We're going to go in here and instead of using this state for the index, also check the page loaded. Login checker. What is this? So yeah, so we don't even need this. This is just a waste of space because we already have this information. So let's just get rid of that login checker and get rid of this pages loaded event. So deleted both of those. Let's change this to current user is logged in. Tell them it's visible. Okay. And copy and paste. Just I didn't need to do that, but current user isn't logged in. Tell them it's not visible. Okay, so now we adjusted that, so that should fix our problem with the sign up showing up in first. There we go. See, look at that. We fixed that little error. It's a small thing, but it definitely improves our user experience by not having that. Okay, so what are we going to do next? Well, we were talking about fixing this section up here and having this. Let's see. So we had current cells, tweeters, profile pictures showing up in here, current cells, tweeter's full name. So what I'm going to do here is we need to have, let's see, for us to be able to properly display that information, our profile needs to have that information. I'm going to go to data right now, just because we haven't set up the area where users are editing their own information. And I'm going to, let's see, we're going to run the program as butt@buttlovers.com. And we're going to say his full name is Evan Charles. And we're going to add a profile picture as well, just something directly out of the site, just random. Okay, open. Save. Now, butt@buttlovers, we're going to run this program. All right, that's nice. So now we can at least see the photographs that are showing up as well as the posters. Okay, so we have a reply that's built in here. That's really nice. Can we retweet? We cannot retweet, so we need to build this retweet action. Let's actually take a look at Twitter itself in order to get these, and we also haven't built the like feature. All those are important. So, and next thing we haven't built either is this link to the profile. So we're going to do all three of those things. To start with, I think we're going to work on the profiles because it's just where we're beginning. It doesn't really matter which direction we're going to go in. But the important thing is that we just get all this work done to finish our application. So we're going to add a link to the page. So drag it out, double click on it, get rid of this text, and we're going to go to page profile. Data to send. So here we have another issue that I'm going to mess around with on the profile page. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on the outside, and we're actually going to get rid of this concept that we have of there being a type of content on the page. And this is going to create a lot of issues, I know, but we're still going to be able to fix them fairly quickly. So I'm going to leave that description there as well. Current pages. Let's see. How do we want to do this? Well, what we can do is, let me see here. So let's bring up everything that we have in here. So we got tweets. Why do we have tweets here? What else do we have? Reply to tweets. Sign up. So we're going to get rid of some stuff. So let me see. We'll get rid of group profile. What do we have? Group profile is just this information here. Image is separate. Edit is separate. Okay, this is separate. The footer. It's also separate. Now, but we have this broader group profile that we can. All right, so I'm just going to hide everything, almost everything here. Okay, so let's grab this group tweets. Well, I'm just going to delete this from the profile page. We don't want that. Pop-up tweet. We don't necessarily. Yeah, we don't. Actually, let me edit, undo. We do want to keep this because we want this to be, we are going to mess around with this later. So I undid this because we're going to show on a particular user's page, we're going to show all of their posts. So let's drag this out again as we did before. However, yeah, so we won't mess around that for right now. Let's go back here and let's simply adjust this information that we had before. So this text, we want this to be in so first of all, we have this group, and we're going to call this group user. And we're going to say to find the data source container, do a search for a user who's here. We are going to add a new concept to our application, and that is user ID. So, which actually we already have. It's the information that we have. So a user has a username, and that's going to be unique. So it has to be unique. So what we need to do is go back to user. Let me check everything that we have on here. So full name, location, profile pics, retweets, tweets, favorites, bio, banner. So we are going to add a new field, and this field is going to be called username. It's going to be text created. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to say search for users whose username is equal to, and then we're going to go all the way down to get data from page URL, parameter name, username, user, we'll just call it user. It's a parameter name. And we're going to say get user from page URL. And then we're going to say first item. So now what we're doing is we're actually calling, and I'm going to call this group user container so that we can reference it to get to say everything else in here as well. So we're going to say group. Now we're going to go down to this bio here. So group, that's what was supposed to show here. So we're going to say group user containers, users bio. So bio is going to be showing up now. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go, we don't need group sign up. That's something that I should have got rid of. So we definitely don't need sign up. I'm going to delete that off this page. And coming back to what we had before. So let's adjust the banner as well. So we're going to say group user containers, users, banner. And we're going to say process with ImageX, resize to fit dimensions by cropping. Okay, so then let's get rid of page title. We're going to remove this. Recall this page title is going to be, so we're going to say group user containers, users, full name, dash shitter. Okay, so that information is there now as well. We still have these other issues, so let's take a look at them. So so the profile picture, let's adjust that too. So let me open this up. Here we go. And what we're going to say is group user containers, users, profile pic, process with ImageX, resize to fit dimensions by cropping, close. Okay. Edit, we're going to leave that alone. And here we're going to adjust this as well. We're going to say group user containers, users, full name. Okay, and now let's see what remains. So dynamic data here. So we have more things to adjust as well. So we're going to adjust those now. So go back here, pull this up, and we have, let's see here. So so we have the bio, jokes, followers, likes, and everything. And we actually are going to move this down. So we're going to move this down because we want this to be displayed basically right here. And I'm also going to adjust this the length of this page. To double click on the page itself, you just click outside of the design area to click on the page. Make this like 1955. Just nice and long so we can move down our footer. So move our footer down. Make that a bit fatter too. I like that. It looks nice. It's just nice to design. Okay, so we move that up. Now I'm going to stretch this out on the page. It's about like that because we're going to use a concept where we're centering things on the page basically and making them fixed width, and it helps us with the design. So we'll just say this element is visible on page load. Okay, and it's fixed width. And here we go, his profile's logged in is yes. Yes, just get rid of these conditions. We don't want any conditions on that group. Okay, so this is looking pretty good so far. Excuse me. Now what we want to have in here is search for tweets sort by created date. And we're going to go in here and we're going to say who's at. It's actually what we're going to do is we're going to do this differently. So here's what we have going on right now. we want to collect all the tweets that are related to this particular person. In order for us to do that, we need to have this duplicate feature where we're saying, okay, Bubble, we want you to show all this information in a list, and then we want to take another list with a bunch of data and add it together. And there's several ways that we could do this, but the way that we're going to do this, and we're going to add these lists, is we're going to do an advanced filter. So I will now show you how to do that. First, click on search for tweets, then click on more. Go all the way down to the bottom and you want to go to filtered. Now add a new constraint, and we're going to call this constraint advanced. And this is where we're able to say, to give these constraints of where we're saying or. And the or feature is where we're going to go in and be adding, basically, in essence, adding these lists together, but we're basically just filtering information down with an or. So we're going to say this tweets at and now here's what we're going to say: group user containers user. Okay. Remember, group user containers user, that is basically we extracted the user from the URL, and that's how we know who's on this page. So group user container, that's referencing whose profile is it on this page. That's what we're basically the code that we have here. So we want to say, well, if someone tweeted at this person, let's show that tweet on their profile. Next, when this tweet's creator is current user, we also want to show that. So we want to show who tweeted at them. We want that to show whose tweets are there. And then retweets, when this and then retweet, here's what we need. I need to look at how we structured our retweet really quick here. Retweet, which contains the tweets. So we set things up like that. So I don't really like how we did this. I think that we should restructure our database really briefly so that we have a smarter way to show things. Because the reason that we're doing that is we want to have one list of information with tweets and retweets together. But when we're building things in Bubble, if you notice when we were right here, we can only search for one type of content in a list at a time. That means that if we have two different types of content, then there's no way for us to display both of them well, there are ways that we can still get around it, but for us it's kind of a pain, and we don't really want to do that. So to make this simple for you guys, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to we're just going to get rid of this retweet concept that we made right here initially. So we're going to delete that. Now what we're going to do instead is we're going to a tweet is just going to have this concept of it can be a retweet. So we're going to add the retweet. We're going to say retweet question mark. And let's get rid of that real quick as a yes or no. And we're going to say, yeah, create this. And by default, a tweet when it's created is not a retweet. Okay. So tweet and retweet are the same object now. So now we need to get rid of this retweet list of retweets in here. So because that type of object doesn't exist anymore. So we're going to delete that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to say retweets as a field within tweet. That's just going to be a tweet itself. We're going to have a tweet within a tweet, which is going to be a list of tweets inside of a tweet. Okay. So that might sound weird and a little confusing, but basically we're just going to create a new tweet and save it under the mother tweet, or like the initial tweet, right? So the retweets are going to be saved underneath it, and then they're just also going to have this same object class. And the reason is so that we can have them all easily fit and be displayed here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say when so let's also think about this for a sec. So when we're retweeting someone, we are going to have this other concept where if it's a retweet, we want to know the original tweet as well. And so that's why initially I might have thought that it was a good idea to set up a new type for retweet, but that's a bad idea, guys. The way we're going to do this, we're just going to add a new field, and it's going to be called original tweet. And we're going to say retweet. Okay, in parentheses. So that way we know what this information is pertaining to, because it might be confusing for creating new tweets later on. I'm like, what was that original tweet field we created? And that's going to be a tweet. So that means that we now have a way to reference the original tweet when we retweet. And we can still make this all one field. So awesome. Coming back to right here, we are still going to have, we don't need to have any other information added to this. Basically, we just want to say when someone's tweeting at us or when we trade a tweet, show it down here. When we retweet someone, it's going to create a new tweet, and then it's still going to be created by us. So we're still going to have that information when we retweet someone. It's going to show up on our profile, and I'll show you guys that later on once we keep going. And we're just going to say, so we just have these two concepts. This tweet, when someone's tweeting at us, or when, and it's not current user. This, I got to be really careful here. This is group user, containers user. Okay, so when this tweet is at the profile, when this tweet's creator is the profile. Okay, makes sense, right, guys? Hope that makes sense. And that is how we're going to ensure that we're displaying the correct tweets. Awesome. So that's off to a good start. Now, what other information do we need? We need to get rid of the rest of these things here. So I need to see where some of these things are coming from. So repeating group timeline. I don't know where this, we had this old concept of a timeline that we'd created before. So I see we had this, we made something similar before, but it was incorrect. So we had this concept where we were filtering them. And it was basically the same way we filtered it before. And then we just had this other thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete this timeline because we just don't need it anymore. We have our own, we built a different one that's better. And we are going to keep this. So tell username, the profile's name, a joke. So we are going to have that information. But for right now, we're just going to delete that. So, and I also kind of like the way we laid it out like that in the corner. So we are going to go back to that font, but let's delete this in just a moment. So let's go back to tweets and let me see. Like this or like this. We'll leave it as it is for, well, actually, yeah, it is better like that. So, okay. So now let's change this placeholder. So I just deleted that, but we're going to adjust things a little bit. So we say tell and then insert dynamic data, group user containers, users, full name, a joke, ... So now it's going to say tell the profile's name a joke. And I like what we did. So we had this bio showing up down here, which was nice. We're counting their jokes, their followers, their following, their likes. All this is pretty good stuff here. The thing we want to think about is where do we want to contain some of this other information? Like, do we want to move, say if we just decrease this size and then we move this up so it's down like this. Is that better? Yes, that is actually better because we want to show other information right here. We might want to show an ad right here, some other information. So now in order for us to do this and ensure that that stays on that length area of the page, I'm just going to stretch this out, center it horizontally, double click, and make sure it's fixed width. And that's going to keep this, this information oriented to the page properly. So we're going to need to load the page as well. Okay, so let's see, what do we have here? So Evan Charles, blank jokes, followers, following, likes. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Oh, excuse me. So, all right, let's get rid of these other issues so that we can just quickly do this. Okay, so we need to correctly be showing this information. Let's adjust this because this following text was getting cut off, so I'm just going to make that a little bit longer like that. And here's where we're going to go in and just adjust all these. So jokes is just going to be how many tweets did they make, okay? So that's going to be group user containers, users, users tweets, counts. And we said that we're saving tweets under a user. we really don't need, so we're going to get rid of this retweets because that's not a thing anymore because we restructured our data. Tweet itself is something we don't really, let me see, how did we set it up before? Yeah, we don't need this information either. We don't need to save the list of tweets underneath a user because I'm going to explain this right now. And it's a really simple concept. When we have a tweet, whenever we have information, objects that are created by users in a Bubble application, there's this built-in field called creator, and it's tied to a user. So what that means is basically that Bubble automatically is recording the information on who creates stuff, who creates objects in our app. So we don't need to save all the objects. We're going to automatically be able to reference that information. So like who created the tweets and count that. So now I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to say do a search for. Let's also, let me check this as well, or check our, let's see, check our group tweets. Let's check this really quick. Search for tweets filtered by this tweets. No, that's fine. Okay. So we'll say do a search for tweet whose created by is equal to group user containers user. Okay. Count. So now we're counting how many tweets that person made. Next, we got this other concept in here. So let's just copy this. Let's see, followers. No, we're not going to copy that. So have we created our followers and following concepts yet? So followers and following, we do have that. So that's good news. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the design and we're going to say group user containers users followers count. Okay, and then we're also going to do the same thing here. We say group user containers users followers count likes, and then we're going to say here's where we need to count how many times someone likes a tweet. So what we're going to do with this, so this is a little bit tricky, okay, but I'm going to explain this really simply and you'll understand why we're thinking about this in this way. So when someone retweets someone, do we want to allow people to like a retweet? And I would say the answer is no. We only want to be tracking the likes on an original tweet. So if someone retweets it, the like is going to go to the original tweet. Makes sense, right? So in order for us to do that and count how many likes someone gets, we only want to count the likes on their original tweets. But remember, we created this concept where a retweet and a tweet are both classified technically as a object called tweet. So in order for us to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to do a search for tweet, new constraint, who was created by equal to current user. And we also want to add a new constraint, and we want to say retweet, which one? Retweet question mark is equal to no. So first of all, find all of the original tweets that this person has made. Next, we want to look at the likes. Here we go. So we haven't created a like yet, so we're going to create that in the database right now. So we're going to go back to data, and we're going to create this concept called a like. And it's not, whoops, I'm going to get rid of that. So it's an object itself. It doesn't have any other information besides the date when it's created. And now we're going to go back to the tweet, and we're going to add a new field called likes underneath tweet. And we're going to say like list is a multiple field. So list of likes underneath our tweet. Now going back to here, we're going to search for tweets. So we have find all the original tweets and all their likes. Now count all those likes. And that's it, guys. Now we've counted the likes for that particular user. And we're going to be very soon introducing these other concepts, namely this idea of, I'm actually going to, here, click on this group, this big group, and I'm going to send it, let's click on this group. Let's see. So click on group tweets, and we're going to left click, bring to the front. Okay, look at that. We actually got rid of all of our problems that we had before. So this is looking pretty good, but we still have a couple things to fix. And the thing that we're going to fix here is that we want this number to basically be all the way to the right. It looks better that way, and that's a really simple fix. We're just going to move this over like this. It's aligned to the left. Aligned to the left. And aligned to the left. This is already aligned to the left. So, and let's just see how much better this looks. Do we like it like that? Let's actually do it in the center. So in order to do that, it's really simple. Again, we're just going to center this, drag this all the way across the page, or all the way, not across the page, but across this group, drag this text across the group, center, and then this is already dragged, center, retest. Okay, that looks fine. It's really tough to say which one looks better. I almost want to say that they're off a little bit, but we aren't going to spend too much time on this. I'm actually going to bring it back to the left side for right now, but you know how to adjust that now if you would like to have your numbers centered. Okay, so let's see what's missing. So we had this. We are Evan Charles, right? That's our profile. So we want to be able to edit our own profile as well as view other things. Like we want to have a settings page and things like that where we can adjust information. And we have this. So what we need to do is we're going to create one profile. This is a concept I'm also going to talk about. So we have one page called profile, and it's going to reference our own profile as well as other people's profile. And what that means is that we're going to be setting conditions on the profile page that tell us, okay, if this is our profile, then we want to be able to see this edit button, for example. But if we're going to someone else's profile, we don't want to see that edit button. Okay, so the next thing as well that we need to adjust in here as we're thinking about things is we need to add some conditions for the retweets in this tweet section in here. And then we also need to add what we were talking about with these conditions on the page for if you are that current user. So let's do that right now. So first of all, we're going to make this edit icon, get rid of that style, make it white. And we're going to say when group user containers user is current user. So now we're saying, well, when the profile is us, we're looking at our own profile, we do want to see the edit feature, but we don't want to see this edit button. We don't want to show it on every page. And let's define another condition, and we're just going to reverse it. So we're going to say when this isn't the current user, is not current user, tell them it's not visible. So now we're saying, okay, we'll show this concept of an edit button in here only when it's our profile. Now let's look at this banner. So let's show this banner real quick. Group user containers banner process to fix with. Okay, that's all fine. What we need to do now is also add another edit button. Okay, so we're gonna drag this out. I just right-clicked copy, right-click paste. We're gonna send this banner. So click on the banner, send it to the back, and we have this. So let's actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set ours up a little bit differently. I want to do this slightly different than before because we're gonna have this. Okay, that stayed in a relatively decent position regardless of the page size. Whoops. Okay, so let's let me see. Let's adjust one more thing right now while we're thinking about it too, and that's this concept of so first of all, this group tweets. We're gonna right click, bring to the front, and now click on this this setting right here. So we want to say this placeholder like tell a person a joke when it's not our profile, right? But when it's our profile, we just want to say tell a joke, and that's an easy fix. We just go to define conditions when group user containers user is current user, and we're going to say initial content, and we're going to just delete this. So tell a joke, ... Okay, so now what we're saying with the program is, well, okay, if this is our profile, we just want to see this tell a joke prompt because we're not telling a joke to anybody else, just to ourselves. So easy fix right there. Now for this one, we're going to call this we're going to name this edit banner. Similarly, it's only showing up when it's us. So we already have that condition there because we copied it. And so this is where we're going to bring up this concept of how are we going to bring in a banner to the page. So there's a few different ways we can do this. one way is to actually show a pop-up, which lets us select a new profile picture. So we will do it this way. We'll have a pop-up, which is then going to allow us to select the picture. So how do we do that? So what we do is we're going to go down to containers. We're going to say pop-up. Let's drag this out onto the page. It's actually, we already have this pop-up tweet, so we might want to just copy this pop-up tweet. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll copy that. So actually delete this, click on pop-up tweet, or left click, right click, sorry guys, right click, copy, left click, paste. And this is going to be, we're not going to be replying to anyone. We're instead going to be saying, edit profile picture. Profile picture. Okay. And let's center this horizontally. Let's keep this off our remove icons. Remove, we're just going to say icon, close, pop up, edit profile picture. Okay. Start your set it workflow. Element actions, hide, pop up. Here we go. So let's actually go back to the design. Whoops. Click on this pop up here. We're going to rename this to edit profile picture. Edit profile picture. Okay, and then again, click here, click on start set workflow, hide element, hide edit profile picture. Go back to design and excuse me. We're gonna send this down the page. Okay, and I'm gonna increase the size of this button. Delete this. Let's have this line here. This line, I suppose we can keep. We're gonna delete that. Delete this text. Delete that text. Okay, so now we're just going down to inputs, and we're gonna say picture uploader. Real simple. Click to upload an image. And let's bring this down as well. Bring this down, and let's actually add some text. So go over to visual elements and text. And this text is going to say click photo to click the photo to upload a new picture. Okay. And remove the style, make this like size 15. Center this horizontally, back down a bit, center horizontally. Okay, we're just gonna get rid of this line so it's cleaner. And let's make it about square, just because I think it looks nice when it's square. And then we're gonna move this button, or just resize it. So do we wanna line it up? No, I don't think it looks good when we line it up, so we're gonna make it like this. I'm going to move this in a bit as well. And then I'm going to center this horizontally, right click, center this horizontally, right click, center horizontally. You can see center horizontally is a very, very common action that I use all the time when developing, and I highly recommend you use it as well. Okay, we'll move it in. We'll move it even more. Yeah, that's actually, I like that. Let's make it even tighter. Even tidier. All right, now I think we'll call it good right here. This is a good length that we have here, so move this up a bit. Center horizontally, center horizontally, center horizontally. All right, I think this is quite okay. I actually even go a little bit tighter. We must have some other things in here. Let me see. Is there something that I'm not seeing? Okay, so for this, let me see, can we make it tighter? Okay, we're having a little issue with making it tighter, but I don't want to go on forever just adjusting the size. We're going to call this size good right here as we have it. I'm going to bring this in a little bit and center it. Just, okay, center one more time. And there we go, guys. We are off to the races now. We got this sent, and this isn't going to be called send. This is going to be called save photo. Okay, so and we're going to say picture uploader A. We're going to call this picture uploader profile photo. Okay. And it's going to be a dynamic image. By default, we're going to say it's going to be, here we go, we need to change this to user. And data source is going to be group user containers user. And then we're going to go in here and we're going to say parent group users, profile picture, process with ImageX, resize to fit dimensions by cropping. Okay, so now we're going to say by default, now it's going to show the profile picture. Save photo, double click on save photo. Start set workflow. We're going to make changes to parent group's user. We want to say their profile picture is equal to picture uploader profile photos value. Do we have another upload? Yep, that's good. Okay, and we want to go, let's add a alert right in here. So click on alert, add this to the page. And this is just going to say, whoops, let's write this out. Say profile picture updated. Okay, remove the style. I'm just going to change this text to like basically darker, a little darker. And like one more size bigger. It's a little easier to see. Okay, going back then, we're going to say element action show message. Show that message, and then we're going to say wait, pause for next action for 1 second, and then go down to element actions hide. If you need to slow down the video, go ahead. I know I did that a little bit fast. Hide pop-up edit profile. So you see how we're doing all these actions. So boom, update the user's picture, hide the profile updater, and just let us know that it's been updated. Awesome. It's pretty straightforward. So now we just need to say file edit, and we're going to call this profile picture start set workflow. And we want to say element actions show pop-up edit profile picture. So there we go. We now have an edit profile picture function, and I'm going to test it out real quick. So let's see how it's working. So let's say click to edit profile picture. Let's change it to this color right here. Okay, it's just taking a moment to load. It could be because we're on a shared server. My internet may be a little bit slow, but in one moment it will finish loading, and you guys will be able to see this working live in action. Okay, so now we're going to save this photo. Profile picture updated. Look at that, guys. Pretty sweet, huh? So now we have this profile picture updated feature working nicely. So we're going to add some more things. I just trying to think about where do we want to begin here, because we still have so much to work to do. I think the next thing that we are going to do, though, is going to be this. We're going to add the banner. So because we started with this profile photo, so let's add the edit banner feature. So it's basically going to be the same principle as the profile picture. So if you guys want to go ahead and try to do this on your own, I would definitely recommend trying that and practicing. And you can always reference the video. I'm going to go through it right now, and we'll do it again together if you just want to follow along again. But I definitely recommend trying things on your own. It will help you learn fast. So after, of course, we've explained how to do them. Okay, so we're going to say, I see how I copied. So I copied the pop-up for edit profile, and this is going to be pop-up edits banner picture. Okay, pop-up edit banner picture. So we're going to leave a lot of things are going to be the same. Click photo to upload a new picture. That's all going to stay the same. We're just going to change this text to save banner photo. We're also going to say edit banner photo. And similarly, we're going to drag this. We're going to drag this out, and we're going to make this wider. So drag it out a little more. Drag it out, and we'll say, let's see. So center this horizontally. Let's move this up a bit as well. Up a bit. Okay, center that horizontally, center that horizontally as well. So edit banner picture, and that's pretty good actually. Make this a little tighter. Well, no, we'll just make it wider. So now we're just playing around with a little bit of dimensions, and this isn't so important. It's just about design. You guys can make your own design if you want. I'm just making it look as good as I believe it can. Quickly. Okay, so that looks pretty fine like that. Now we're going to edit this, and we're going to say not user's profile pic. We want this to be user's banner. Process with image X. All that looks good. Save banner photo. So we also want to change this to picture uploader banner photo. And let's go over to click on this X. We say close pop-up, edit banner picture. Start to edit workflow. Hide, edit banner picture, close. Okay, save banner photo, start to edit workflow, and make changes to parent group users banner is equal to picture uploader banner photos value. And then we're going to click on this alert, as you can see underneath here. Whoops, that's not correct. Sorry, guys. So we want to go back to the pop-up edit banner picture in here within our group. Click on this plus sign to expand the elements that are below it. Click on this area right here. And we want to say, drag this alert out. We want to say banner picture updated. So different alert, banner picture. Basically the same idea, just different text. So then we're going to say show message, element action. So element actions, show message. And we're going to say show banner picture updated, navigation, add a pause before the next action for hide the status bar. And then we want to do element actions, hide, edit banner picture. So now we're doing the exact same process, and we just want to say that's what we want to do when we create a banner, when we update the banner picture. So now click here. We have this edit banner function, start to edit workflow, and then we want to say element actions, show pop-up edit banner picture. So let's refresh the page really quick and see this in action. So I'm going to select a new photo. I'm going to use this nice picture of the mountains because it just looks kind of cool. Use whatever you want. And then we're going to say save banner photo. That is sick. It is now showing up down there. This looks nice. I like this a lot. So, okay, very cool. We have the banner showing. We have this little bit of white space there. I don't want to kind of get rid of that. That's a relatively straightforward fix. We just want to, let me just see this. I want us to click on the profile itself because I want to see if group profile doesn't have any roundness. Whoops. So let me hide group profile really quick. And I actually just want to I'm going to bring this group down just a little bit more and see if that gets rid of that little white space. If not, we're not going to worry. There we go, it did. Awesome. So we got rid of that white space. It's just a small thing with the design. It looks a little nicer. Now the next thing that we need to do is, we still have a ton to do, but I think that something that's really going to help us a lot is to link the profile page and then edit the header. So what do I mean by linking profile pages? What I mean is we want to have a way to look at other people's. First of all, we want a search feature. We need to build that. That's going to be an entire separate page. We want to have some conditions on the header, so we're not just going to see the login if someone's logged in. And we also want to link we want these to be clickable. So let's make the links clickable, and let's keep going with this profile page because we're getting pretty close to what we want with this profile page. Also, let me adjust something as well. So I realize we messed this up a little bit, but it's easy fix. So click on this input really quick. We don't want this to be initial content. We instead want this to be placeholder. So say placeholder is tell a joke, ... And instead of initial content. There we go. Easy fix. That just ensures that we just start off saying whatever we want. Haha, you're funny. Let me see if this is post it. Here's another thing that we want to edit as well. So we want to go down here and double click, search for tweets, descending yes. Sort by descending, create a date descending yes. So that way the new ones are going to show up on top because that's just a nice easy fix. So nice, that looks good. And the next is going to be this concept of on sign up. So what we were doing before is we had this concept of the username, but we want to make sure that everyone has a username when they sign up, and we want it to be unique on sign up. So what we're going to do is we're going to assign people usernames when they first create an account, and then there's going to be an ability for them to change the username to whatever they want. So we're going to give them random numbers. So similar to like on YouTube, for example, if I go to YouTube right now and I click on a channel, what we're looking at right here is basically what looks like random text is generated, and then eventually people can edit their username. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the same thing. Basically, we're going to have this user slash, and then it's going to have their username, and it's going to be some random information by default. So how do we do that? Okay, and the reason that we're doing that, also we'll explain one more time, is that all of our referencing for profile pages, like where are we getting the profile information on the profile page, is from the URL itself and from the username. So everyone needs to have a username when they sign up. So let's do that. So what we have here is I'm going to show this group sign up, and we're going to click on this sign up button here and start set workflow. Sign the user up. So we had input email, but pass its value. Change another field. So we're going to change actually 2 fields in here as well. So we're going to change the username, and we're also going to change the banner because we want people to have some kind of banner by default. And so I'm just going to say, here's something that's kind of interesting. We need to think about how are we going to reference the banner as a static picture when we have all these different options in here. So what we can do is actually we'll go back to data, and we're going to create another type. It's going to be called default banner picture. Okay, this is actually going to be its own type, default banner picture, and it's going to have a field image, which is going to have image. Now we're going to go to app data, and we're going to go default banner pictures, new entry, upload, and I'm just going to use this basically this mountain as the default, or we're going to use a mountain. We're going to use these trees as our default banner photo. Use whatever you want. So upload whatever you want. Any photo will work. So we'll wait a moment while it loads. That is ensuring, what we're doing right now is ensuring that we don't have just a blank picture. We have some kind of picture as default. Okay, so we're going to save that on everyone's profile until they change it. Okay, so we have that. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go copy and restore. We'll go back to data. We're going to go under app data, go copy and restore database. And now we're going to do, data version 2. So we're going to copy development data into the live database. Not all types, only default banner picture. I'm going to say copy from development to live. And so now we're copying this image into the live database as well, because these are 2 separate databases, remember. And the reason that we know that is because, as I explained earlier, the reason that we do that is so that we don't mix up test data with real user data, because obviously we want our real user data to be clean and easy to read and understand and stuff as we build our platforms and applications. Cool. So, okay, that's been saved. So now we're going to go back to sign the user up. And we're going to say username, and we're going to do a search for user default banner picture. Whoops. Actually, no. I'm sorry. I just did this wrong. So banner, do a search for default banner picture. And then we don't need we really just want to show the first item because there's only one item. And then image. And that's it. So now we're referencing the default image. I know it's a little bit back end that we just did, a little hack there, but it will work, and definitely recommend it. So now for the username, we need to create a random string of text, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. It's a super useful thing when we want to add IDs to other objects in our database as well, which I definitely recommend for lots of different objects, just to make identification easy. So All right, so username is equal to, we're going to do calculate formula, and then we're going to do generate random string. Length of characters is going to be like 7 characters. Letters, non-caps, numbers, we'll use all of those except for special characters. You don't have to use all these. I recommend using letters, non-capital letters, and numbers in your random string and making it between 6 to 7 characters long. And then click on close. And here we go. Now every new user has a username. So we are giving them a banner and a username. Awesome. So that is done. That's going to help us a lot. So when we sign up on a new account, we're going to be able to properly reference our account. And let's now think about what is the next important thing, because we have, again, we were going to add this link into the text and the picture here, so we're going to the profile pictures, but we have a ton of work to do up here as well with the header. Well, not a ton of work, but fairly quickly we're going to transform this header into our navigation area. So let's do that right now. Let's make this header more dynamic. So go click to the header action. So you see we were index, went to header. And what we need to do is we need to have this link. So we're going to add an invisible link and double click on this link, get rid of that text, and go to page index. That's all right. Make this element fixed width. We're going to say link to home. Index is the home page, as they did when you just enter in the URL like shitter.com. If we bought shitter.com, it would go directly to the index page. So drag this out. Okay, bring this to the front. Okay, so now I've got a link to the home. So now I've got a way to link to the home. So for example, if I want to go back to the home page. Cool, that looks good. Let's do it, click on it again. The next thing we need to do is we need to edit this information, group login. So we want to say this element is not visible on page load, conditional. When current user isn't logged in, this element is visible. And then another condition, right click copy expression, right click paste. When current user is logged in, this element is not, so when they aren't logged in, show the login, the login area. When they are already logged in, well, we don't want them to be able to log in twice, so we're just going to get rid of that. So let's click on this group B because it contains our things in here. So let's hide this. And now let's think about, okay, well, what we're going to be looking at now when we're signed in is just this area where there's this shitter right here. So what we're going to add is just 2 simple things. We're going to add a search bar, which is a site-wide search to our application. And then we're also going to add a profile area. So first things first, we will just draw the search. It's going to take a little bit of time for us to build the site-wide search. And so we're just going to draw the search bar for right now, so we have something on the page and it looks kind of complete. And so, okay, so we got make that fixed width, input search, and we'll leave that alone. Just say it is visible on page load. That's all fine. And then we also want to go in here and say add an icon. So go to icon, add an icon to the page, double click it, search for user. Let's use this user icon like this and remove style, change it to white. I actually like, let's see, do you like this one better? Now this is just down to personal preference, which user icon you like. You can also use a different one if you want. There's other options as well. Let's use, the circle is going to be best. So yeah, I actually like the circle. It gives us, I like that. That looks good. Okay, so that's going to be our profile area. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another invisible link. And so let's do that right now. So we're going to, the reason we're using invisible link is because it's actually faster in our application to layer these invisible links on top of the elements in the page. And that's just because we have less workflows going on and we're just referencing these links. They're faster. So that's just a little bonus for you guys to know while you're building apps. So, okay, we're going to say this link is to profile. Okay, so we're going to say go to profile. And what we want to do here is something that's really critical is we want to send more parameters to the page in our link. So add another parameter. And the key here is going to be user, and it's going to be equal to current user's username. Okay. Now I'm going to go down to data really quick, and I'm going to go to app data users, because we've created some. If you followed the whole tutorial in the first part, we created new accounts, but these accounts don't have usernames yet, just because we created them before we added that username action. So really simple. I'm just going to add a name in here. Call this Brethren. It's a weird name. Bra. Okay, so whatever you want to call it. I called it bra. And then we just want to say, okay, going back to our design, we want to send a user piece of text called user in the URL. And then we set up our page, so it's going to collect that text. Next thing is we're gonna group these two elements basically with three elements together. Well, let me see. So I want to, we are gonna group all this together. So we're gonna group these two elements together, and then the search as well. So Control, select everything, or Command, select all three items. Right click, group elements into a group. Okay, awesome. And then make this group fixed width. That's all good. And let's move this over as well. I'm just gonna move that invisible link so it's right over the top like that. And now let's reload the page and see what we have. Okay, so we got this profile. I kind of want to move the profile over a little bit also, so it's more like right here. I just think that looks nicer. All right, so it's more close to the center of the page. Yeah, that looks good. So click, and then it's going to go to, boom, it goes to our page. So awesome, it's going to our page. Boom, it's going to home. And then we've got this search bar in here. So we have some basic things built already. We're also going to want to add some settings so where people can upload their other thing. Well, let's see. Let's go back, and now that we've basically finished up most of our work that we wanted to do for the header for right now. So let's add the links to the text in the tweets now, and then we're going to fix some things with settings on the page, like being able to change the name and username, and that's going to be a quick fix. Then we're going to have like this settings button where we're going to go to a new page, which is going to be our setting area to adjust like the email, password, delete your account, log out, those kinds of things. So purposely, we're nesting the logout deep in the website, so it's not easy to log out of the website, because every social network is basically designed to get people to be addicted to it, right? And spend as much time as possible on the network. And we're just going to build our app with that assumption that we want people to be addicts. So, but of course, you don't have to do it that way, but I think that's a good design principle, is to make it hard to log out of your website. It might seem like it's not user-friendly, but it's how we're going to do it. So we want people to stay in on our site, that's for sure. Okay, so let's get to it. So go back to the index page and show this group tweets. So we need to link, we need more links. So more invisible links, guys. All right, so double click. We're gonna get rid of this. We say link to user. And here it's gonna go to destination page profile. We're gonna say send more parameters to the page. Again, the parameter is gonna be called user, and it's gonna be current sells tweets, creators, username. Okay, now match this to the dimensions of the picture. Boom. Okay, make it fixed width. Right click, copy. Right click, paste. And I'm gonna have one more, and that's gonna be this text itself, which is just gonna lay this right over the text too. So okay, cool. Then we got this link that fits right over the text too. So link to user, and really we're just gonna say link to user 2, link to user 1. It doesn't matter what we call these. But now we are going to select both of these, copy them, and we're gonna go over to the profile page and do the exact same thing on the profile page. So we're gonna paste in here and move these down so they're right about over the top of them. Boom, that's good. So now we have clickable profile pictures and names. So we're going to go to the right picture if we want to go there. So okay, so boom, it takes us to that person's profile. And in order for us to see another profile, we're going to build the settings and logout right now. So we're gonna hop back over to the profile page and add this other section to it really briefly. So let's see so what do we want to do first? Let's go back to profile and work on this. So we have the name showing up, and that looks nice. I like the name. Let's actually move it up a little bit, and I'm gonna drag this out, bring this up, gonna copy, and we're gonna go paste, and this is gonna be at the username. So I'm gonna say text at, and then it's gonna say group user containers users username, and we'll make this a little bit smaller, make it like size 18, and let's see what that looks like. How does that look? So then we've got this at showing up as well. So that looks nice. So we have our username handle as well. We need to add some more things like the following and followers, and we'll add that in a little bit, but we want to finish up this log out and log in concept all the way. Just do it. Yeah, do everything with it. So in order to do that, to finish that up, we need to, let me see here. So we'll add a setting to the page. Yeah. So we're going to add, I'm tempted to think about whether we should add this editing feature of the name and username directly in there. And we will. Well, actually, we'll do that. So I thought about it a little bit, and I decided that we're going to add another edit and a little edit icon. And this one's going to be for the username and for the name. So make it a little smaller. Let's drag it out to the page. So here's where I'm gonna have to bring these together. So group these elements into a group, make this fixed width, and then let's test this out, see what that looks like. Still, it's all the way over there, so it's just a bit too far over. So I'm gonna maneuver this on in like that. Let's make it even closer, something like that there. Someone could have a long name, so we want to keep it a little bit long. I suppose let's go even a little tighter, something like, right? That should be about good. All right, so, okay, we have this third edit icon that's a little bit far off on the page. I still don't really like where it's showing up. If we just make it nice and tight like that, it's going to get closer and closer. Let me see there. There we go. That's fine. So if we do have a longer name, it may show up on top. There's other ways to get around this, which is by adding the image like directly into the text. It's complicated, and I think that we'll leave things as they are for right now, because this is a really minor detail that we're forecasting, a very minor problem. So we're going to leave it alone for right now. Don't stress. We're going to have a really awesome app when we're done building, so don't worry about this little detail. So what we're going to do here then is this is going to be our, we're going to put it on the full group. So we're going to say group, call this group, and when I'm saying, I'll explain what I mean in just a moment. So group user name plus name. And now we're going to add another pop-up, and so select pop-up edit profile picture from the element tree down here, this area, and then right click, paste, and we're gonna change this to edits profile info, and we're gonna get rid of this, and we're gonna say save changes. Okay, and this is gonna say close pop-up edit profile info, start set workflow, hide pop-up, edit profile. Oops, now here we have to change the name of this to edit profile info, and go back to the workflow, edit profile info. I'm just changing the name so it's easy to make sure that we are hiding the right element. Okay, so then I'm going to get rid of this, and we're going to have two inputs. Drag one out into the page, make it about as wide as the Save Changes button. Okay, and this is going to be placeholder. We'll just call this username or full name and username. Okay. And then I'm going to move this Save Changes up. It's like right like that. Okay. Make it nice and tight. Okay, so then we'll change initial content. It's going to be parent group users, not username, parent group users full name. And then down here, it's going to be initial content, parent group users, username. Click on Save Changes. We're going to go make changes to parent group user, whose full name is equal to input names value, whose username is equal to, and here's actually where we're going to do something different. So what we need to make sure is that the username is unique. So this poses a slight challenge for us, but it's going to be easy for us to fix. So here's how we're going to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this alert which says, which we had from before because we copied the old profile, or the old pop-up. So this is going to say profile updated. It's going to be our profile updated alert. We're going to have a new alert. So we're going to copy this alert, right-click copy, right-click paste. So it's actually, I'm going to hide that old alert, put the new alert in right there, make sure that red is showing so that we know that this alert's staying within this pop-up. If it leaves the pop-up, just click edit and undo, and then adjust the pop-up so it's right here on top again. So use undo if you accidentally move the alert outside of the pop-up. Now we're going to say username already taken. Okay, so we have this concept of username already taken, and we're going to make this alert it's going to be like a danger alert. Username already taken. That's good. Change this to like 15, size 15. That's good. Okay, so we have this other alert called username already taken. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back to workflow, and we're going to say, we're going to copy this and paste. So now we're going to say username is equal to input username's value. And we're saying only when do a search for users. Actually, here's how we're going to do this. So we're going to say, I'm going to make this even a little different. So we're actually going to put this in one action. So thinking live, so input username's value. And then we're gonna get rid of this. We don't want that anymore. So we're just gonna have one action. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna have this termination action. So we're gonna go to navigation, terminate this workflow. And I'm gonna add that to the front. We're gonna say terminate this workflow when current users, say do a search for user whose username, and here's how we're gonna make this interesting. So do a search for user, and we're gonna filter this by, we're gonna use an advanced filter. So this is gonna be a little bit interesting what we're doing, and I'll explain in just a moment. So advanced filter, add a new constraint, and we're gonna say username. Let's see. First of all, advanced. This user is not current user. Okay. So look at all the users in the database that isn't this profile, isn't my profile. Then we also want to say this user, and this user's username is input username's value. So what we're doing is we're saying, look, so in case, for example, we're always updating the username, even if someone doesn't change the username in the input, we're just keeping it the same, but technically the program is still updating that text. So what we're doing is we added this condition, don't look for the current user in this list, because the current user, if the current user doesn't change his username, then they're still going to be able to, then this alert would incorrectly appear. Because what we're doing is we're going to search for users in the database that have that username. If someone else has it, we're not going to give it to the person, okay? But if we include our own user in the list and we're trying to keep the username the same, it's going to find a person every time when it's the same username. That maybe sound a little bit confusing, but I hope it makes sense what we're doing here. And if you follow along, I promise you'll get this right. So just keep following along. If you are confused, don't worry. Okay, so search for user filtered by this user's not current usernames, input username's value. And then we're going to say first item. We're going to say is not empty, okay? Then we're going to terminate this workflow. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say show a message, and this message is going to be username already taken. We're only going to show this message. We're going to copy this condition when search for users. So just copy that condition, expression, paste that expression, okay? So we're always going to possibly display this image, display this alert. We're going to terminate the workflow otherwise. Then we're going to make changes to the user. And then if we don't, so basically now we're just going to keep going. So we're going to say, okay, so we have this username check. So now let's keep going with the regular update. So we clicked on save changes, right? So we're going to make changes to the user. And then we're going to add a pause before the next action for 1 second, show another message, which is going to be profile updated, and we're going to show that right here, then add a pause, and then hide pop-up edit profile info. All right, so now finally we're going to say this big group right here with username plus name, start set it workflow, element actions show pop-up edit profile info. Okay, development, I'm just going to deploy it. You don't need to do that. I just deployed it anyway. I regularly do that. As I said, you don't have to. It's not so important. Okay, so now we're going to click on this and let's test it out. Let's see if we can edit our name. We're going to be John Johnson. That's what we're going to call ourselves. We'll change our username to bro. Okay. Okay, so it's going to look in a moment. So then we need to refresh the page. So then the next thing we need to do is after this, we need to do something different. We're going to save the changes, but we need to go to we ran into this bug because all of the data about a particular user is showing up through this user this text in the URL, and we didn't update that text. But in order to do that, it's really simple. What we're going to do is we're going to say go to page profile, send parameters to the page. We're going to say key user is result of step 3's username. Okay. And now let's test that out and see if it's going to work. So let's test it out. Okay, so we're gonna just click here really quick. Okay, so back to where we are before. Let's test it out. So leave the name the same. I'm gonna change this to bra again. So we'll change it back. Save changes. Okay, excellent. So you see now we don't have that same problem anymore because we're updating the URL at the top by reloading the page in a sense. So cool. We now have the ability to edit that information. We just want to add one other thing, which is changing the email and changing having the ability to log out. So we're going to do that really simply by just having this settings page. And well, let me see, where do we want to add it? We could add it right down here. We could just say this log out button. And well, okay, yeah, we won't add our own page. I was going to say we can add a settings page And that is something that we will do later on if we want to make this app more complicated. But to keep things relatively simple, we're just not going to add a settings page right now. We're just going to have a little logout button on our own account. This is going to be a button right here. So add it right there. Call this inverse button, success transparent button. And it's going to say logout. Nice and small. Be like right there. Stick it right there. And let's test this out as well. I want to see where this is lying on the page. Okay, good. It's staying right where about where I want it to. Another thing we don't have is the ability to edit the bio, which is showing up like right down here. So this is another interesting point. What if we move this down to like right there? So we want to have the ability to edit the bio. So let me see. How do we want to do this? We actually want to create a new white group for the bio, I think. So let's do that so the bio will stand out more as opposed to just being in the background. So left click, group elements into a group. And I'm going to expand this group out a little bit. Move this over a bit as well. Move this down a bit too. Double click on this. We're going to say background style, flat color, going to be white. That's good. Move it up like that. Okay, so there we go. Also, there's a certain, you see in this group, there's a certain roundness to this, which is 5. So we're going to make our roundness on our section here also is going to be 5. Okay, and then the logouts is going to be like right below that. Okay, and it's going to say, let's go back here, and this is also going to say bio. Okay. All right. And finally, we're going to have one more little edit button as well. So let's add one more edit button. So copy this, paste, bring it into here, change this color to basically like a pretty much a black. Make it even small, make it a little smaller. And then we're going to say, okay, so we're just going to have this little icon that's visible there when to indicate that you can change the bio. And to change the bio, then it's going to be really pretty straightforward. You're just going to, let's close that. You're just going to click on the bio itself, and then we're going to have that information available to change. So let's click on Edit Profile Info. We're going to copy this pop-up, copy, paste, paste. We're going to say Edit Bio. Okay, get rid of both of these. Save changes. Okay, we're just going to add, say, bio, parentheses. Make that fixed width. Okay, and then make this multi-line inputs. Okay, and this is going to say, type here. Yeah, obviously that initial content is going to be parent group users bio. Let's drag this out. Center it horizontally. Okay, bring that out. Center that horizontally as well. And then just bring this on up. Whoops. Adjust that down a bit. Nice and tight. Okay, that looks good. So click on this. Pop up Edit Bio. Pop up Edit Bio. Start to set workflow. Click here to add an action. Element actions hide. Okay, we need to change the name of this again, just like we did before. Edit Bio. Hide an element. Hide Edit Bio. Okay, save changes to bio. Start set workflow. Make changes to parent group users. Bio is equal to multi-line input C's value. And then again here we're going to have, so let's get rid of this username already taken. We don't want that alert in there anymore. This one we're going to say bio updated. Updated. Okay, so back to the save changes workflow. Let me say element actions show, element bio updated, navigation, add a pause, 1 second, element actions hide, pop up, edit bio. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. So it's the same process as before. Then finally, we just have to have the trigger for that. So we'll call this group bio. And we're going to say start set workflow, element actions show, pop up, edit bio. Okay, now let's test this out real quick. So say I want to do this. So we have this other thing happening where we just want to bring this all the way to the front. So bring this to the front, also bring this to the front. Okay. That's like we're almost there. Not quite. Something else is missing still for us. We're not able to click on this. And let me make sure I set this correctly. When group bio is clicked, we do have this condition here. Bring it to the front one more time and see if it adjusts. Yeah, so for some reason we didn't bring, and we must have brought it to the back on accident. So, okay, let's see if we can add it within the page. One moment, guys. We just need to test things out here. Let's see what we have. So group profile, send group profile to the back. Group tweets. We might as well just, let's group edit bio. No, let's see. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to bring group tweets together with this bio feature. So I'm going to move this down really quick. Group tweets, and we're going to send this to the back. And then I'm going to move this over. Actually, let's bring group tweets inside here. So bring group tweets into group profile. So I just had a few tweaks here. Oops, come on. So it says you move group profile down a bit like that. Group tweets, do the same thing again. There we go. And then center this horizontally. Now I'll move this over, bring that together. Similarly, the log out, bring this to the one group like this. And let's test it out real quick. Okay, all that looks fine. And there we go. Now we have this edit bio feature. So I'm going to say, I am the greatest rapper alive. Rapper alive. Okay. Bio updated. Boom, I'm the greatest rapper alive. And there's that little overlay, but we're just not going to worry about that. And finally, this log out button. And for that, we just need to adjust this as well and say this is not visible on page load. However, when current users, group container, so group user container user is current user, this element is visible, and create another condition, copy, paste, say is not current user, this element is not visible, and log out, simply going to go and account, navigation, log the user out, go to page, index. Okay. So now we have a logout function on our profile, as well as the ability to edit our bio. We're looking good, guys. We're pretty much done with the initial things that we wanted to adjust here. So almost. We got to do one more thing here, which is to take this image banner. Let's send this to the back. And I just need to figure out what happened to our other section here. Edit banner. Bring this to the front. There we go. That should make sure that we are correctly showing things here. There we go. We just want to make sure that's still showing up too. Okay, guys, we are basically done with this section, the profile. So the profile is almost done. We have this concept of followers and following. Just thinking about, do we want to do that first? But let's go ahead and set up before doing followers and following. We're going to, in the next video, so I'm gonna cut this video off just because we're probably at over an hour. And I want to make sure we chunk these videos out a little bit. Next video, we're going to build the retweet system, the like system, or finish that up, the followers and following, and then we're going to build the site-wide search as well. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to finishing the application together. Nice work, team. And by the way, I also have in the link down below, if you enjoyed this video, I'm going to keep a link to my community and my development community. We have our own website where I will answer questions if you have specific questions. And also, you can post ideas and talk in our community. So go ahead if you want to join our private community. The link is down below in the description. It's a website I built on Bubble, so you can enjoy taking a look at that. So, all right, guys, see you in the next video.